I think he's being set up to fail. That's right, I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
Here we are on national television, right? There's been 11 practices, if I remember correctly. He's been starting against, he's been playing against the third unit. He's fourth on the depth chart. And then suddenly you throw him into the start lineup, and he hasn't had any reps with the first team at all.
ESPN turned on Shedeur Sanders faster than a Cleveland Browns season collapses in December. 1 minute, they're hyping him up as the next big thing, the quarterback who could change everything for a franchise that's been searching for answers since the Mesozoic era. The next, they're setting up a full-scale narrative assassination attempt.
Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. You expect me to believe, based on that comment from Jimmy Haslam, that the Cleveland Browns are intentionally sabotaging Shedeur Sanders? You expect me to believe the Cleveland Browns are intentionally setting Shedeur Sanders up for failure? You expect me to believe Kevin Stefanski is risking his job, his career? A 43-year-old man with a wife and 3 children. He is risking his entire career just to see Shedeur Sanders.
Why? Because he got selected to start a preseason game. A preseason game, and Stephen A. Smith, sitting there with his blazing hot takes, is leading the charge, claiming Cleveland has set Shedeur Sanders up to fail. But here's the kicker. This isn't about failure. This is about opportunity. And ESPN, they're terrified Shedeur might just seize it.
You know, if he had first team snaps in practice, I don't say that. But he doesn't. And then all of a sudden he's starting tomorrow night. It's like you want him to fail. I'm not accusing the coaches of doing this. I'm not accusing the GM of doing this. But that owner, Mr. Haslam, that's a different animal right there. Mr. $230 million guaranteed deal to Deshaun Watson. And then he gonna come out this time around. I had nothing to do with this pick. I didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, that wasn't me. That was GM Barry right there. That wasn't me. The owner sitting up there.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. Stephen A. Smith believes the Cleveland Browns have set Shedeur Sanders up to fail. And honestly, that's exactly the kind of backward thinking that shows you don't understand greatness when it's staring you in the face.
Quarterback injuries. He's going to start Friday. And he'll only have one practice with the ones, and he's going to start. And this is now being called sabotage. And this is not just like crazy internet dweeb. It's like network people. It's sabotage. Cleveland doesn't want him.
Yes, Shedeur hasn't been getting first-team reps. Yes, he's been going against the third team in practice. Yes, he's been thrown into a preseason game with limited preparation with the starters. But you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like every great quarterback's origin story. Tom Brady was 6th on the depth chart. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for years. Russell Wilson was too short. And now ESPN wants us to believe that because Shedeur Sanders has to prove himself under less than perfect circumstances, he's doomed? Please.
Check this out. Shedeur Sanders will start Cleveland's Friday preseason opener. Kevin Stefanski confirmed this today and added that Tyler Snoop Huntley will be the only other quarterback to play in the game, with Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel slated to rest.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it, Aunt?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look. Your opportunity has presented itself. It's kind of like divine order, if y'all ask me, Ark and Ocho. You know what I mean? Like, it's like God working mysterious ways, man. I know we don't want nobody to get hurt, but to see them two dudes have, somewhat hamstring injuries, and Flacco obviously probably who's not going to play. Man, I'm looking forward to him just coming out, relaxing and just having fun, bro. I think it's going to be a good time for the young.
Let's talk about what's really happening here, because the ESPN narrative machine is in full spin mode. They're acting like the Browns threw Shedeur into the Gladiator Arena with a pool noodle and a prayer.
What we doing now? That's what you're doing. You're trying to disassociate yourself from a quarterback that's on your roster at this particular moment in time. You give him no first team reps. He's been working out with the third team, and then you just gonna throw him in there.
But here's what they're conveniently ignoring. Shedeur Sanders didn't fall to the 5th round because he couldn't play. He fell because 31 teams were too scared of the noise, too intimidated by the name on his back, too worried about what comes with drafting a Sanders. And now that Cleveland gave him a chance, now that they're actually letting him start a game, ESPN is scrambling to control the narrative. They can't have Shedeur succeeding after they spent months explaining why he wasn't worth a first-round pick. So what do? They create a story about how he's being sabotaged.
Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel about to get some permanent rest. I'm gonna play so good they're gonna be gone. When we get, it's gonna be gone. It's over for them.
Yeah.
It's over for them. Just go, just do what you do.
And
You don't have
enjoy
to
the
do
moment.
anything. That's it.
Man.
Cleveland has treated him badly this whole preseason. Are you serious right now? The same Cleveland that traded up to draft him when he was sitting there in the 5th round like a $20 bill on the sidewalk that everyone was too proud to pick up. The same Cleveland that could have easily passed on him entirely, but saw the value that 31 other teams were blind to. Look, every rookie quarterback has to prove themselves. Every single one. But somehow, when it's Shedeur Sanders, it becomes a conspiracy. When it's anyone else, it's called paying your dues. The Browns don't owe him anything. Not first-team reps, not a starting job, not a red carpet rolled out to the 50-yard line. What they've given him is something far more valuable, a chance.
Now, I don't know if he jumped up from 4 to 1, or I don't know if they're just trying to see exactly what they're working with, or we don't know if they're just trying to throw him to the fire. All I know is this is not his first rodeo when the pressure is on. He has always been able to overcome, and I think he was born for moments like this, and it's against the Carolina Panthers. I don't see too much of a threat when it comes to their defensive line. I don't see too much of a threat when it comes to their secondary. This should be a fairly good matchup to see exactly what we're working with.
They don't know how to handle a big star. That's rich coming from the network that spent years telling us Johnny Manziel was the next big thing. The Browns have been handling big names and big egos for decades, some successfully, some not so much. But here's the difference. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a big name. He's a big talent with a big name. And that's a combination that terrifies the establishment. Because if he succeeds, when he succeeds, it exposes every scout, every analyst, every talking head who wrote him off. It reveals the truth about how the NFL really works, about how talent gets buried under politics and personalities and petty concerns about who someone's father is. But the best thing they've done, they've given Shedeur his chance. And that's exactly what he's got. And that's exactly what he's going to take today. Champions are forged in the fire of adversity, tested when the odds are stacked against them, proven when everyone expects them to fail. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is walking into the most favorable possible scenario for someone with his skill set and his mindset. He's got nothing to lose and everything to prove.
This is his shot. This is it. I mean, I don't mean just this one game, but I'm saying this is his chance. Even though it looks like he's been practicing well, what we talked earlier, like it just seems like they don't want to give him the shot to really move up. Well, they have to now. And I salute them for not. I think to start Tyler Huntley in this game would have just been like, yeah, it would have either been insulting or he is just light years away from being ready to play in an NFL game. And so I'm glad he's getting a start. I said earlier, maybe he plays a half, Huntley plays. If he's playing well, he's going to play 3 quarters. And
ESPN is trying to put pressure on Shedeur Sanders, trying to paint this as some impossible task, some unfair test that he's destined to fail. They're setting the stage for their "I told you so" moment, already crafting the headlines about how the Browns mishandled their young quarterback. But pressure is what turns coal into diamonds. Pressure is what Shedeur Sanders has been living with his entire life. Being Deion Sanders' son, carrying that legacy, having every throw dissected and every decision questioned since he was old enough to hold a football. You think a little NFL preseason pressure is going to break him now? They are trying to say he's not ready. Listen, readiness is not about perfect preparation. Readiness is about what you do when the moment arrives, whether you've had every advantage or whether you're fighting uphill. And Shedeur Sanders? He didn't need ideal conditions at Colorado to put up record-breaking numbers against Power 5 competition. So why would he need everything handed to him on a silver platter to succeed in Cleveland?
This is a guy that was projected to be a top 3 quarterback in the draft. He fell to the 144th pick as a 5th-round pick. It was universally recognized that it extended beyond the field of play as to why his stock plummeted. He gets picked up by Cleveland. I'm simply saying, if you look at the kind of circumstances that Shedeur Sanders has had to embrace, and on top of it all, you haven't exposed him to any first-team reps. And then the first time he's going to see anything comparable to that is in his first ever preseason game. I'm just saying that looks very.
The narrative that ESPN is pushing, that you need first-team reps and perfect preparation and ideal circumstances to succeed, is exactly the kind of thinking that keeps mediocre quarterbacks in starting roles while exceptional talents ride the bench. You know what builds champions? Adversity. You know what separates the great ones from the good ones? how they perform when everything isn't perfect, when the stage lights are brightest, when the doubters are loudest. And right now, every condition is aligned for Shedeur Sanders to do exactly what he's always done: exceed expectations and silence critics. Cleveland has treated him badly. Let's examine that claim for a second. They've treated him like what he is, a fifth-round rookie quarterback who has to earn his stripes. But here's what Cleveland has done right. They've put him in position to change that narrative. They've given him a stage, a platform, an opportunity to show that their fifth-round steal might be the bargain of the decade.
Shedeur Sanders has been with the Browns through OTAs, rookie minicamp, and training camp. He knows the playbook, the head coach, the coordinator, and his teammates. And because he only gets one practice with the ones, it's sabotage. You've got to be kidding me. Stop pandering. Stop protecting media. The great ones would consider this an amazing opportunity. And he probably...
They don't know how to handle a big star, but the best thing they've done is give Shedeur his chance. And in that contradiction lies the truth that ESPN doesn't want to acknowledge. Sometimes the best way to handle a star is to let them shine under pressure. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give a champion is a mountain to climb instead of a red carpet to walk on. Because when Shedeur Sanders steps onto that field Friday night, when he takes his first snap in an NFL uniform, he won't be thinking about the lack of first-team reps or the media narratives or the impossible expectations. He'll be thinking about what he's always thought about, proving he belongs. And that's exactly what he's going to take today. Not just the opportunity, not just the chance to play, but the moment itself. Because that's what champions do. They don't complain about the circumstances, they dominate them. They don't make excuses about preparation, they make the most of the preparation they have. They don't point fingers at the organization, they point the scoreboard in the right direction.
When he goes off, the Browns don't want to keep him, but he does so good in the preseason, the team picks him up and uses him as a starter or a backup. When he does good, the Browns organization uppers, the GM and the owner, they put their pride to the side, and he does so good that they let him be a backup or even starter by week 1 or at least week 3, 4, 5. Or lose, he does good, and the Browns owner, who didn't want him initially, and GM and all the uppers say, yeah, but we got all these guys, we didn't expect this, so we're going to put him on the practice squad, or we're going to cut him, whatever it is. Or lose, second lose, Shedeur stinks it up. He could not do good. I mean, I'm going to put good energy out.
Shedeur Sanders will show them who's the best quarterback, not through perfect statistics, though those might come, not through flawless execution, though he's capable of that too, but through something far more powerful and far more important: the ability to rise to the moment when everyone expects you to shrink from it. The ability to turn adversity into advantage, pressure into performance, doubt into determination. ESPN can keep pushing their narrative about him being set up to fail. The Browns can keep treating him like a developmental project. But when that ball is snapped and the lights are on and the stage is set, there will be only one truth that matters. Can he play? Excellence has a way of demanding recognition, no matter how many obstacles you put in its path. And greatness has a way of making itself undeniable, no matter how many people try to deny it. When Shedeur Sanders steps onto that field, he's not just representing himself or his family or his legacy. He's representing every player who was overlooked, every talent that was undervalued, every champion who had to fight for their chance.
He's actually about to get ready to live out the American dream, which is making it to the NFL. That's probably one of his main goals. And to be able to, start in his first preseason game, man, I remember when I was a rookie, Uncle Ocho, listen, boy, I took the preseason like it was the playoffs. Like, because as a young fella, you gotta prove yourself.
You don't know no better.
You gotta prove yourself. So only thing is going out there playing hard and showing that you belong.
The ESPN effect isn't slowing down. It's entering warp speed, but not in the way they intended. Every time they question his readiness, they're adding fuel to his fire. Every time they suggest he's been set up to fail, they're setting him up to prove them spectacularly wrong. Every time they doubt his ability to handle the pressure, they're giving him another reason to handle it with the grace and skill that got him this far. Because here's what ESPN doesn't understand about Shedeur Sanders. Pressure doesn't break him, it reveals him. Adversity doesn't diminish him, it defines him. And every time he steps on a court, or in this case, a football field, the league gets a little more real, a little more exciting, and a lot more honest about what talent actually looks like. Because Friday night isn't just a preseason game, it's a statement. And Shedeur Sanders is about to make it loud and clear. The Shedeur Sanders effect isn't just coming, it's here. It's real. And it's about to turn every talking head, every doubter, every analyst who bet against him into a footnote in the story of how a fifth-round pick became the steal of the century. ESPN turned against him? Good. Champions need enemies. And Shedeur Sanders just found his.